Now we are back to the practical board. Now we have two phases here. We have the analog distribution system, and then on my far left we have the digital distribution system, the one that incorporates the spider sensor. That is the invention of the Rico technology. Now when you come to this analog distributing system, this is the one that we are currently using. Almost every country is using this. If you go to the US, they are using it. France, they are using it. If you go to Australia, they are using it. Japan, China, they are using it. As well as our country, Ghana, we are also using it, and Nigeria. So what it means is that now, as it stands, this is the distribution board that we are all using. Now, what are some of the lapses of this distribution board that necessitated that the Rico technology came about with this new invention, that is the spider sensor? So now, if there is a collision of the live and then the neutral, that is the time that you realize that this particular distribution system will actually work. But then, is there a possibility that a device on this distribution system may be faulty or may be dangerous, but then the live and then the neutral hasn't actually collided? Yes, that is very possible. Anytime that there is a collision of the live and then the neutral, this particular distribution board, that is the analog distribution board, will actually trip off when that happens. So what it means is that in case the live is actually revolving around the devices, but then there is no collision, what it means is that even if there is no collision, is there a probability that these devices or these dangerous devices can actually cause electrocution and fire outbreak? And the answer is yes. Of course, if you make the checks, you realize that it can cause electrocution, which will actually lead to death, or it can also cause fire outbreak that can lead to destruction of properties. So this is how the distribution system, that is the current one that we are using now, this is how it works. Now we would like to demonstrate to see, we have the blue phase, and then we have the yellow phase, and then we have the red phase. In the likelihood situation whereby a device is faulty, let's see how we can demonstrate to see whether it will affect the entire system here or it will not. So the demonstration will help us. So now we will pick our tester from here. Now we have a faulty device, that is the laminator. This particular laminator is faulty and it is actually leaking current. So we will switch it on here. We will plug it here and switch it on. Now the laminator is on, it is working, but this particular laminator is faulty. How does it affect this entire system? Now we would like to demonstrate and see whether there is going to be leakage of power or leakage of current to the other appliances or the sockets on this distribution board. So now we will place the tester on the laminator to confirm whether indeed the laminator is now dangerous and is leaking current. So we will do that briefly. Now you will realize that yes, indeed this laminator is dangerous because it is actually leaking current, which can cause electrocution and which can cause death or destruction of property through fire outbreaks. Now let's come to the yellow phase and check and see. Now we realize that we plug this particular laminator here. So let's move to this socket and see whether the current is still leaking. Now you realize that yes, indeed there is leakage of current. That is why the light is on here. Now let's move on to the other side and check and see whether at the blue phase if the same thing is happening. Now let's check and see. Look at that. Now you realize that this particular socket is also experiencing the leakage, and all these things are happening because of this dangerous laminator. That is why it is affecting the entire system. Now, for us to know that yes, truly indeed it is affecting this entire system, let's try to unplug this laminator from the system and let's see what happens. Now the laminator is off. You realize that the light from the tester is also off, indicating that yes, indeed it was this laminator that was dangerous. That is how come after offing it, we realize that the light is out. So we would like to put it back and see. After putting it back, we realize that still there is leakage in current. So this means that yes, indeed this particular laminator is faulty and is leaking current. Now let's go back to the earthing system and try that one and see. There is it. Now we realize that the earthing system is also experiencing the leakage, and all of these things are happening because of this one laminator. Now, after testing all these other devices, let's go back and test the actual distribution system to check and see whether the distribution system is also experiencing the leakage. It is serious. So we realize that the distribution system is also experiencing the leakage. This is the reason why most of the time the electrical engineers will advise you that in case there is an emergency where there is a fire outbreak or leakage of current, there is no need for you to come to this distribution system to touch it or tamper with it. If that happens, you can be electrocuted to death. That is the reason why they advise that do not come near to the distribution system in case something of this nature happens. So this goes a long way to demonstrate that yes, indeed this particular system, it works all right, but then it is not complete. We need something that will help this system to be complete. That is where the RICO technology comes in with the new age invention, that is the spider sensor. So we are now done with the practical demonstration from this board. We will now move on to the spider sensor to also demonstrate and see how it works and how it will make this particular distribution system that we are using right now fully functional. So let's move on to the other side, that is the digital distribution board, of which the spider sensor is actually incorporated. Now, when we started with our illustration with the spider, we said something like anytime that there is an entanglement in any of the web of the spider, it sends a direct signal to the spider in the middle of the web. It is the same way that this spider sensor also works. Now, anytime there is leakage of current or anytime there is a particular appliance on this distribution system, anytime there is a leakage, what the spider sensor will do is that it will detect that particular device that is causing the leakage, isolate that device. After isolating that device, the spider sensor will also give signals to let you know that this particular device is dangerous and can cause electrocution or lead to fire outbreaks. So we would like to test that one too and see. So now we are going to connect this dangerous laminator to this system, that is the digital system that is having the spider sensor. So we will do that here and then switch it on. But then when we switch it on, let's observe what happens. So the moment we switched this on, it means this device is faulty. The spider sensor quickly detected that there is a faulty or dangerous device being the laminator. That is why the spider sensor is giving the danger signal that if care is not taken or this particular device is not removed or isolated from the system, it can cause fire outbreak or electrocution. So now let's also test and see what happens. Whether if one device is affected, will it go a long way to affect all the other devices or the sockets on this spider censored AI distribution board? So now we will go back and check. Now let's come to this side and check. Now there is no leakage of current because the light indication is not on from the tester. So we can say emphatically that there is no leakage of current. Now let's come to this side as well and see something here. There is no leakage of current. Now when we come to this side as well, we realize that there is no leakage of current. So this indicates that the spider sensor by itself and its unique properties have isolated the faulty laminator, and that is the reason why all the other devices on this distribution system is not affected. Now let's go to the Ethening system. This one, you realize that it is not affected. So what it means is that there is no leakage, and all these things were possible because of the spider sensor. It was able to locate the particular device that was having the fault, or the particular device that was rendered dangerous. So now back to the socket. Now you realize that still the light is not on, indicating that there is no leakage of current with the other devices. So the only leakage of current is happening with this laminator. Now let's try something and see. Let's pull off the laminator and check what and see what happens. So let's pull off the laminator. So the moment we pull off the laminator, the beeping signals also stops, and then we realize that everything is back functioning, indicating that it was this particular device that was faulty. That is the reason why the spider sensor was giving us that beeping or danger signal. So until something is done about the device that is faulty, the spider sensor will keep on giving the alert or the signal, so that all the devices on this distribution board will not also have power leakage and then cause electrocution or fire outbreak. Let's put it back and see once again. Now the beeping sign is coming out again. This is the reason why the world needs the spider sensor. The spider sensor in its own abilities is going to help this distribution board, that is the analog distribution board, to be fully functional and complete. Right now we can say emphatically that this particular distribution board, that is the analog system, the one without the spider sensor, is not complete, in that anytime that there is a fault, it affects the entire system. But then when you add the spider sensor to the entire distribution board, you realize that anytime that there is a fault, it doesn't affect the entire system. The world is not supposed to sit on this invention. The world is supposed to embrace this invention because we really need it. And one other aspect is, somebody may ask, why is it that we are still experiencing electrocution and electricity related fire outbreak, if in case that this particular distribution system that we are using, that is the analog distribution system, the one without the spider sensor, in case it is complete, how come we still experience electrocution and electricity fire related outbreaks? And this phenomenon is something that is happening worldwide. Each and every country is having their own share of electrocution and fire outbreak. That is the reason why we need the spider sensor in order to help this particular distribution board to be complete. Inti say yabemo matiase ya ye chirechire mu no yebo amo be hunu say eye sa distribution board we are using currently we na obi use ni sese sa distribution board we abra say any appliance on this distribution board wo ka per se affect distribution board we na ye demonstration ni kwa ye hu say affect affect distribution board na ankasa distribution board na ankasa no ntina electricians etu ye for say bibi sa esi a hwe na ya nkosa distribution board we hu ente sa ebetimi ashoke am yewu but then ye ba na ye be hu say spider sensor no wa bra device bi wo sa distribution board we so no ehun aka no ya dia spider sensor ni timi yi sa device ne nko a detect sa device ni free di akanim na afa ya sa send signal sa dede na danger dede na no sa send signal de boa ma be hunu say sa device we ni ntina sa dede na ekoso nti ya dia obe solve sa problem ansana bibia timia akoso kama na afa yemfa ne say uye fiewura na say sa distribution board we na we use analog type na we use what it means is that yemfa ne say ufie ni nyina ni o use sa system we distribution board we one apartment we so another apartment and a another apartment wa bro leakage bi ebeba this first apartment no yamfa ni say fie ru an it is apartment we and a tenant let apartment we wa bro leakage bi beba any of the appliances was sa apartment we no because of say spider sensor bia anywhere ebeboa detecting tina affect entire system na wa nya na face no obi mpo a ye fie ru no wa no ade a light betimi ekuno wa bra the devices bi so ehun atochima ade a light betimi ekuno na face so ade eja hyehye enso betimi aba empempi no efie ru afo bebre na ahwere omajapade esan say eja hyehye na abe say omajapade nyina ye mpesa sa ade ne be koso biem eni ntina ye bo hu de ru say spider sensor yi ba beboa ama electrocution ekoso bebre ne eja hyehye a ekoso bebre nam ehina eja hyehye a ekoso bebre enam light a ye use ni ti no we ba beboa be yi sa de ni nyina front yamfa ne se me ye fiewura my apartment ni we nso ye tenant ono so na apartment ni me a me ye fiewura no in case say any of the devices no touch ma no leak current because of say spider sensor we ne ewo ho a ye adwuma kama nti ma ye sa keeping sign na me ehunu say device we faulty na mom sample we no a sa be isolate side device that means twe side device ne nko afrim akosi nchen na affect the aka ni na nti de kira ne say device bi wo ha na say eho touch ma na de a me amete am ye tenant no light betimi a shocking ma ma enti na ehu be hia se wiase nyina je side device we tum spider sensor ni tum na no be boa yen ama electrocution ekoso bebre ani jahyehye ekoso bebre no e betimi aboye ho ban every sa nema no nyina. So now we have been able to establish why there is the need for the spider sensor. Now during our illustration we realize that we said something that these huge ships that are on the sea, they generate higher voltage of electricity, whereas this higher voltage causes death to the sea creatures, like for example the sharks and the likes. But with this spider sensor, in case this spider sensor is incorporated in the distribution systems in the ships, there is no way that the ships, when they are leaking current, will affect the sea creatures. That is the reason why this spider sensor is supposed to be incorporated in all our electrical systems, so that when this spider sensor is incorporated in all our distribution systems, it will help us eliminate electrocution, it will help us eliminate fire outbreaks, which leads to destruction of properties and human lives. As already stated, my name is Nkansa A.D. Johnson, a Derico Technology Company official. Now, as we have already presented on the practical board and the illustrations done on the giant screen, we can emphatically say that the world needs spider sensor. The world needs the spider sensor. we have to try as much as possible to eliminate electrocution and then fire related outbreaks, and we can only do this through the help of the spider sensor. So I hereby call to the world leaders, higher authorities, manufacturers, that we need collaborations so that we can manufacture this spider sensor on a far grander scale, so that worldwide we can all use the spider sensor, so that we will avoid electrocution on land and as well as on sea. Electrocution on land and as well as on sea. We are using this opportunity to create awareness to the entire world that there is this invention from our company, that is the spider sensor, and this spider sensor will go a long way to help us eliminate climate change situations in the world. And we hope that after watching this video you will be elated, and then you will call on us using our social media handles, and when you contact us we will work together and then we will help save the world. Climate change is not a distant threat, but then it is here with us. Thank you.